This season of Outlander is really starting to hot up as the trailer for episode 7 was recently released. This looks like it's going to be a big episode, with major characters having been introduced to us and us seeing the reveal of Buck Mackenzie being the Knucklevi in the modern day. There's now a direction that this show is heading towards, and it's not looking good for the Mackenzies or the Frasers on both sides of the timeline. So with that, I thought I'd break down the trailer and give my theories and predictions on what I think is going to happen next. So let's get into it. Here is Outlander Season 7 Episode 7 Trailer Explained. Just to let you know, this video will contain spoilers. Oh, and if you enjoy the video, then feel free to hit subscribe. Thanks. The trailer opened up with us seeing the British Army preparing for battle. The flags were flying high and it looked as though the troops were out in full force anticipating the fight that was going to be taking place. The line that was spoken was uttered by William. He said the American forces are already poised for battle, and it felt as though he said this in a concerned manner, knowing full well that they wouldn't have the element of surprise like when they took Fort Ticonderoga successfully a couple of episodes ago. However, it was his companion that spoke the line, "Our victory cannot come too soon," so it showed that they were extremely confident at that point and felt as though they were going to be triumphant. At that point in the war, the British troops were on top. It's this battle that's to come, the Battle of Saratoga, which is actually known historically as the one that changed the direction of the war and put it into the favor of the Continental Army. The final shot in this scene in the trailer was of William looking like he was standing in front of the troops with a smile on his face, feeling confident about the battle that was going to be taking place following the conversation. We're going to see William facing off against his father Jamie, the person who he doesn't actually know is his father, and right now, at this point in the story, Jamie is proving to be extremely loyal to the Continental Army and a valued member there too. So it will be interesting when we see the both of them end up potentially meeting on the battlefield. The next scene that we had in the trailer was in the modern day, where it seemed as though that dinner that Rob Cameron wanted to arrange with Roger at the end of the previous episode is actually going to be taking place. The line that was spoken was from Roger, and he said that Rob Cameron has a hot eye for you, insinuating that Rob was taking a liking to Bree, thought that she was attractive and was being flirtatious in the way that he was speaking to her. Bree responded with "That's ridiculous," so it doesn't seem as though Bree is going to be feeling that way or have feelings that are reciprocated if that is the case. However, if the books are anything to go by, then who knows? Bree might find herself being proved wrong in that situation. This was then followed by Roger and Bree being intimate with one another. The next part of the trailer was in the 1700s where we saw Jamie speaking with Claire and he uttered the line, "We're being mustered for battle," so it was implying that the troops were getting ready and preparing themselves for what was ahead. This is something that was also supported by the footage that was present too, as they were all rallying together and sorting themselves out and getting into formation. We then had a line that was spoken by Claire to Jamie, where she said, "You'll come back to me, and if you don't, I'll come looking for you." The second part of this sentence was the last thing that we heard in the trailer, and amongst this sentence there was a quick succession of shots of what's to come in the next episode. The first shot that we had was of Jamie holding a rifle. This is the first time that we're going to be seeing him as a rifleman, as he was recruited at the end of the previous episode. So it does make me wonder if he's going to be feeling a little nervous, as it's a role that he wasn't expecting or anticipating to do. As Claire said in episode 6, this is something that puts him not on the battlefield directly, so he won't be in as much danger as if he was taking part in the close combat battle on the battlefield, where there would have been several more threats around him. We saw the sharpening of knives, showing that preparations were being made for all areas of battle. We had the next shot, which had the British troops in their formation, looking like they were ready to launch their attack. We also had Ian on the high ground with his bow and arrow, looking like he was going to be using the high ground and distance to his advantage. Plus, there was one that had Jamie aiming his weapon onto the battlefield from distance. A battlefield that had his son on it, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. If anybody that Jamie cared about were to be put in jeopardy because of William, I feel he would have to hold back the feelings that he had for him, and fight for the side and belief system that he stands for, as ultimately, William is an enemy. It looks like it's going to be an epic episode next week that's full of highs and lows, as it looks like some deaths are definitely going to be present, and the full effect of war is brought to the forefront. The title for the next episode is called A Practical Guide for Time Travelers. This is the title of the journal and book that Roger has been writing, where he's been noting down all of the information that he has in his head about traveling between the centuries so that Jem and Amanda and even their children in the future will be able to know all about how to travel between time periods. The main purpose of it is so that it doesn't get lost when they eventually die, and it's something that the family can keep alive. This book was accidentally given to Rob Cameron in the class that Roger was teaching, and he handed it back to him at the end, but there was a sense of realness and truth that Rob believed upon laying his eyes on the text, even though he did pass it off as a novel. So I think we're going to see that being something that gets explored more when they have the dinner when Rob arrives at Roger and Bree's home. Hence why the title of the episode is named after the book that he's been writing. The synopsis for the upcoming episode is Jamie prepares to face British forces in battle. Roger and Brianna question Buck Mackenzie's intentions in the 20th century, and William fights in the First Battle of Saratoga. The Battle of Saratoga was fought over 2 different dates. The first was on September the 19th in 1777, and the second was a month later on October the 7th. So this next episode is going to be solely focused on the first one. There was one thing that wasn't in the trailer but was mentioned in the synopsis, and that's all about Buck Mackenzie's appearance and how and why he's managed to find himself being there in the present day, whilst also knowing exactly where Roger and Bree were living. This is something that I feel we will definitely see being developed more in the next episode, as if the show decides to follow the story, then we may end up seeing Roger ending up going back in time with Buck due to the actions of Rob Cameron. So it will be interesting to see the both of them picking back up where they left off, and how their relationship will be, especially considering Buck was a reason as to why Roger ended up on the verge of death the last time that we saw them. So it will be interesting to see what they'll be like with each other. Buck looked extremely out of place in the modern day, so I feel he will have accidentally found himself there and just be wanting to find himself a way back, hence why he's found Roger, as he may think that he may know how to do it. Episode 7 of the show feels like it's most definitely going to be a good one. I think it's going to be the most exciting one due to the battle that's going to be taking place. Plus, in terms of the visuals, I think it's also going to be great, because I feel we're going to get some real intimate shots of all that's going on. The story is well and truly thickening up, and all of the revelations and developments are now meeting together. I can't wait to see what happens next. So, there you have it. Outlander Season 7 Episode 7 Trailer Explained. If you want to see more videos such as endings explained, theories and predictions and character breakdowns, then click on the I button. Or alternatively, you can head over to my channel where you'll find them all. If you'd like to give me a show or movie that you'd like me to review, then head over to my Twitter, @BrainPilot_, and tweet me what show or movie you'd like me to review next. And finally, if you'd like to see what I rate the latest movies that don't quite make the cut to getting a dedicated video, then head over to my Letterboxd profile. It's where I rate the latest releases in real time. What do you think is going to happen next? Leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time.